With the 2024 Formula One season, Charles Leclerc's seventh year in the most important motorsport series has concluded. Of these 7 years, the Monegasque has spent 6 alongside Scuderia Ferrari. In the overall tally, the Monegasque driver has beaten his teammate 6 times out of 7. The only one to manage to finish ahead of him was Carlos Sainz in 2021, the year the Spaniard joined the Maranello team. Beyond this small detail, Charles Leclerc has demonstrated extreme speed in every circumstance, and above all, a progressive growth that has gradually smoothed out those typical youthful issues that affect every driver, even the best. His ability to manage tires and his strategic vision have grown over the years, bringing him to the level of the absolute top drivers in the category. The common view is that the Monegasque is ready, and has been for some time, to fight for the Drivers' World Championship. Recent history shows it. When he has been given a car that matches the situation, the Ferrari Academy talent has not disappointed. In 2022, at the start of the season, Charles Leclerc dueled, unafraid of the confrontation, with Max Verstappen. He held his own, was beaten, and beat him back. 2 champions were battling, but at a certain point, they could rely on cars with differing performance levels. The RB18 began losing weight and was developed into a powerhouse. The F175, plagued by reliability issues and wrong developments, ended the season in constant decline. Dreams faded in France, where Charles Leclerc made a significant mistake, but it was in Barcelona, with the explosion of the power unit, that it became clear Ferrari had lost the technical duel with Red Bull. In short, this little flashback serves to remind us that, when the technical conditions were good, Charles Leclerc proved that he had the strength to take on a bulldog like Max Verstappen, the driver who is now universally recognized as the best on the grid. In a recent interview with the Italian daily newspaper La Stampa, Frédéric Vasseur, among other things, spoke about Charles Leclerc's potential to compete for the world title starting next year. When asked if his driver was ready to win the championship, the French manager responded confidently, stating that he believed so. The Frenchman explained that the driver had become more mature and consistent, highlighting victories in Monte Carlo, Monza, and Austin as evidence of his ability to handle pressure and remain resilient in challenging situations. Frédéric Vasseur, if we may offer a small jab, is stating the obvious. That Charles Leclerc is ready for the title is a well-established fact, supported by a significant track record. If he hasn't achieved it yet, it is simply because Ferrari has never given him a car capable of truly fighting for the big prize. The ball, therefore, is now in the Maranello team's court, which must finally provide that technical package capable of matching the situation, a car that Charles Leclerc can exploit to the fullest in a team that, it should be emphasized, is growing in other areas like organizational, managerial, and strategic ones. That time has come. Ferrari knows it cannot wait for the regulatory overhaul of 2026, but must aim to win already next year, considering that performance convergence has finally been achieved and that 2024 ended on an upward trend. And above all, understanding some principles that we will see in Project 677. Clearly, next year, Charles Leclerc's path will face a potential obstacle named Lewis Hamilton, an opportunity that Ferrari wanted to seize to enhance the technical strength of the driver pair and bring that winning mentality that may have been missing in recent times in the red camp. But Fred Vasseur is not concerned that the arrival of a 7-time world champion could create a negative atmosphere within the team. The French manager conveyed his optimism, stating that Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton respect each other and would work collaboratively. Fred Vasseur also mentioned that the Monegasque driver had been informed about the project from the outset, fully supports it, and recognizes it as an opportunity for himself as well. When asked about Lewis Hamilton's chances of becoming world champion in 2025, Frédéric Vasseur responded that he would place his bet on Ferrari. These are comments that suggest the prancing horse has done its homework and feels confident in finally providing that consistent car that can be the weapon with which Charles Leclerc, but also Lewis Hamilton, can bring the title back to Maranello after too many years of drought. Heading into the season finale, the Monegasque driver had the opportunity to claim second place in the Drivers' Championship, while Ferrari still had an outside shot at the Constructors' title, trailing McLaren by 21 points. However, a challenging situation became even tougher when Charles Leclerc was handed a 10-place grid penalty for a battery change during practice. The weekend deteriorated further in qualifying when the 27-year-old had a Q2 lap deleted, resulting in his elimination and leaving him 19th on the grid. Yet it is also worth pointing out that in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Charles Leclerc became just the fourth driver in Formula One history to achieve the rare feat of starting 19th on the grid and finishing on the podium. This accomplishment has occurred only 3 other times in the sport's storied history, dating back to 1954. The first instance happened during the 1954 Indianapolis 500, when American driver Bill Vukovich started 19th and astonishingly won the race. At the time, the Indy 500 was part of the F1 World Championship. That race marked Vukovich's sole F1 appearance, and his victory was his second consecutive win at Indianapolis. The feat was not repeated for another 53 years until Alex Wurz of Williams climbed from 19th to 3rd at the 2007 Canadian Grand Prix. Alex Wurz capitalized on multiple incidents to secure the podium in a Grand Prix that also marked Lewis Hamilton's first ever Formula One race victory. The most recent driver to accomplish this before Charles Leclerc was Valtteri Bottas, who finished 3rd at the 2021 Italian Grand Prix after starting 19th. Valtteri Bottas, piloting the formidable Mercedes W11, benefited from strategic opportunities and rival misfortunes to finish between the McLaren cars of Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris. The prancing horse therefore concluded its 2024 Formula One season with a 3rd place in the drivers' standings, courtesy of Charles Leclerc, and a 2nd in the constructors. However, these are 2 defeats that are more positive than negative, as emphasized several times by team principal Frédéric Vasseur, who repeatedly praised his team's ability to react throughout the championship. Never before has Ferrari ended a Formula One season with such a tangible hope of fighting for the championships the following year. There isn't a dominant team at the moment, and the prospect of an open battle among multiple teams, as seen in the second half of the 2024 Formula One campaign, is far from unrealistic. Frédéric Vasseur also spoke about the 677 project, which is the code name for the 2025 Ferrari car in the Maranello factory. The French manager noted that, while things look promising on paper, success in Formula One is always relative, as performing well does not automatically mean being ahead of competitors. He acknowledged the strength of rivals like Red Bull and McLaren and explained that the team analyzes data from the previous evening each morning to maximize their performance. He also emphasized the need to shift focus to the 2026 regulations early in the development process. Frédéric Vasseur also spoke about Loic Serra, the technical director for the chassis, remarking that his integration into the Maranello team was progressing exceptionally well. The Ferrari team principal added that his deputy, Jérôme D'Ambrosio, whom he has known since their Formula Renault days, was also fitting in seamlessly. Frédéric Vasseur expressed confidence that both would contribute to the team's improvement, emphasizing the positive dynamic within the organization as preparations continue for a highly anticipated 2025 Formula One championship.